goodness. Well, it's because all my students are, well, half the people are people I know.
Thanks for a very generous crowd.
Chuck, the guy sitting in the front row here,
Uh-huh.
I should introduce you. He worked at Rite Aid Pharmacy for years, but he's from New York. He owned a restaurant in New York. And so we're all sharing New York stories. He said, so I'm just so happy I can sit here and not have to humiliate myself in front of people. I'm like, no, I'm the only one who has to do that today.
It's early days. Maybe I will have something work out.
Oh, that'd be great. And then, is there any way to turn this up if it's not loud enough?
It is probably up at its highest.
Okay, perfect. So I'll project.
On. And it's up at its highest.
Okay,
but
perfect.
Good afternoon. Oh, that is. Sorry if I busted any eardrums there. I'm so happy to see all of you. My name is Nancy Nyland, and I'm the Volunteer and Special Events Coordinator, and I have the honor of producing Lake Oswego Reads. So thank you for joining us on a Friday afternoon. We would not be able to pull this program together without the wonderful sponsorship of the Friends of the Lake Oswego Public Library. We've got information at the back table if you're interested in joining. They're a membership-based group, but are happy to take donations as well. I also wanted to let you know about a survey. It's about 90 seconds to take, but this will inform what you'd like to see us working on for the next 3 years. So what the focus for our library should be. So if you're a resident of LO, or even if this is your home library, please fill that out. It's online. We also have paper forms if you prefer that. And lastly, please silence your cell phones for this presentation. You're in for a treat. Nancy McDonald knows all about the theater firsthand. She's enjoyed a lifetime performing in plays in professional career in New York City, Los Angeles, London, Toronto, and of course, Oregon. After her beginnings in her home state of Ohio, which is just like the young man, the husband, in Tilt. On screen, she had principal roles in TV, soap operas, worked in various films, large and small, but there are no small parts, right?
There are no small parts.
And has done numerous commercials. She's founded nonprofits, Shakespeare Stage Company in New York, and the Writers Lab in Hollywood, where she directed new scripts with prominent LA actors. An award-winning director, you may have seen her in plays at Lakewood Center for the Arts. She's won several OTAS awards, yes. Which are highly coveted. She's most recently directed A Tomb with a View with her husband, actor, author, poet, genealogist, and director, Lawrence Overmeyer. A wonderful author. I've had the pleasure of reading one of his books. She's a popular arts educator and teaches a wide variety of acting and performance-related courses for students over 18. I think some of you have been her students. So you'll find her current offerings at the Lakewood Center for the Arts website and on her own website, jugglingfeathers.com. So please join me in welcoming Nancy McDonald.
Thank you, Nancy. Well, I'm exhausted just listening to all that. How did I do all that stuff? I guess I'm old. Anyway, thank you, and let me know if you can hear me. I just want to make sure that I reach you. First of all, to say, is not Lake Oswego Library the most amazing resource? I just love everything you do. And this, I have known about Lake Oswego Reads, but reading this book, if you have not read Tilt, how many people have read the book already? Oh, great. If you haven't read it, it's fantastic. It is such a great move. I will give no spoilers, I promise, but the reason I'm here is because one of the characters in that book is a Portland actor and lives that life, and it's very important to the storyline. And so not only did I come from Ohio as well and happen to be living in Portland now, but I went through an earthquake. And Nancy Nyland went through the same one, the Northridge quake in California. And we had a really rough, horrible time. And so that book triggered so many things. but it's wonderful. It's a wonderful read. So that inspired me because I get to talk to you about being an actor, and it is a beingness. It's more than just, and today I'm going to wear this hat, and tomorrow I'm going to be in files, and then next week I'm. So what I want to do is kind of mimic the way she wrote the book, which is fascinating. They alternate chapters. So one chapter is current time, and you're moving through time. It's experiential. You're experiencing it with her. The next chapter is information, and she weaves it in so cleverly, and history and background and chronologically bringing you up to date. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to split my conversation with you into you being an actor and you stepping into those shoes a little bit and feeling what that feels like, and then telling you my own stories. And if I get started on those, we might be here for an hour and a half. So I want to start, though, I will be checking my time. I want to start with that experience of being an actor. So I know several of you from my classes and from working with colleagues, who has acted on the stage? Who has dipped their toe into that? And the rest of you, who kind of thought, oh, that's interesting? Who thought, I would never do that in a million years? Excellent. Because today, I know, today you get to do it. And you get to do it from the comfort of your seats. You don't have to actually get on a stage. So to get started, we're going to get started where an actor would be starting. So just travel with me. You're in the dark. It's very dark, it's very cold, but you're wearing a costume, you've checked it out. It's scratchy, maybe it's too much, maybe you're hot, maybe whatever. You're not thinking about that right now. You're standing there in the dark, and you realize you haven't taken a breath in about an hour, and you're getting nervous, and you can tell that everything here is tight. So you think that you're thinking right to yourself, I got to breathe. And you know the breath. You know exactly the breath. Breathe in on a count of 4. Hold it for a count of 7. Breathe out on a count of 8. So you do it. You're relaxing. Do it again. Now you're starting to open up. It's good that you can open up because it helps the nerves. It's good that you can open up because it helps you be loud when you need to project. All of a sudden, breath is getting down to the muscle of your diaphragm where you need it to punch. But then you're just standing there. And there it comes. You hear it. You hear it before any other sense. It's a crowd murmur, but it's different from any other. And there's excitement. You hear a little tinkle of laughter over there and people greeting over here. You can't make out real words, but you hear tones. It's like music. And you hear it start and it's filling up and it's welling up and it gets louder and then all of a sudden it stops. The lights go out, the music lowers, boom, you're on. That's it. That moment before, that exciting moment before, it's so remarkable because you have to do it every night. And it only happens, well, it happens after a lot of work. So we're going to back up. We're going to get back to a point where, how do you get there? How do you get to that opening night? Well, first I have to tell you, we were laughing about this the other night. I came out of the womb ready to perform. We were laughing in class. S. David, Chuck, Terry, they're all in class with me right now. And it was so funny because I was just like, I was born and it's like, where's my light? I was ready. My sister, 5 years older than me, is hiding under the table. She can't, don't look at me. And I'm just out there doing garage shows, doing little shows. At the age of 8, I was staging my own play with my friends, you know. So for me, it was natural. I didn't have a time when I thought, oh, you're supposed to be nervous. Why would you be nervous? It's so much fun. So I just continued on. Everything was about putting on a show, being an actor, doing these things. I did it as much as I could. I was in children's theater when I was 15, 16. Brilliant plays, hysterical plays that were written by high school kids like me. And they were just so funny. We did this one. It was called The Counterfeit King. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. So there I am playing Laverne. The three princesses were Patty, Maxine, and Laverne. You get where we're going here. So it was a very tongue-in-cheek, very fun kind of musical. And there was a giant. And the fun part of the giant was that she was a child. She was like 10 years old. She was really tiny, little blonde hair, funny voice. And she sang this song, "Things always aren't what they seem. My slight height is the right height." She was hysterical. Nancy Cartwright was her name. She's now the voice of Bart Simpson, has been for decades. And so Dayton, Ohio is a good place to be from. Well, let's get back to being an actor. Not everybody does what I did. Not everybody has the experience of saying, oh, I love this. I think this is fabulous. I see people all the time, here especially. It's a creative place. There's so many theaters here. I see so many people going, I just always wanted to try. Could we maybe? So people just start from wherever they are. And that's what acting is. You don't need a certificate. You don't have to have been approved by someone to say, now you're a licensed actor. You just go. You just do it. You go to an audition. Maybe first you go and work props a little bit. You do some other things. So let's say it's you. We're back to you being the actor. And you are going to an audition. Now let's say you've been to a few auditions. It's not totally new to you. But why is it that you get so nervous? You're just going to a dark, ugly room, holding a piece of paper, reading some words, and yet you go in and it's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? My mind, what's my name? I don't know. People get so nervous. And it's because you have turned the chooser into an important, godlike figure. They're just like you. They're creative people. Maybe that guy's never directed a play before. You don't know anything about them. So if you can breathe and relax, just be yourself, especially when it's an audition where you're just reading from a script. You read a few lines. They have it all prepared for you. You can just walk out the door and you never know. Well, this one time, you had that experience and they called you. And they said, we want you in this play. We have a part for you. Validation, right? It's just such a great feeling. And you keep saying, well, my ego's not really involved. I just love working. But it's so good. It's like being chosen for the softball team. You know, I was always the one over here going, okay, I'll just get my mitt. You know, nobody ever chose me for the softball team. But when you get chosen as an actor, it's just the beginning. That's where the work starts. So let's talk about that because a play is a finite thing. A play, and you know it when you audition. Well, you might be auditioning in August for a play that doesn't open until January. You won't start rehearsing until November. But they wanted to get actors, and so they booked them ahead of time. Think about your life. We were taking that cruise, right, honey? I can't really take it right now. Could we push it? But actors have to do that. I know actors who do that. I'll tell you a story about me. I was so excited. 1984, I was going to London. And I was going to work with my friends. We were going to start a Shakespeare company, which we eventually did. But I was going to London because they were studying. I was going to go over for 2 weeks, study at RADA, the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art. And so off I go. And I'm living in New York, working as an actor. So I'm there a week, and I get a call. ABC, you have to come back. There's an audition. And I was set to audition with a certain guy at a certain time. I flew back. Yeah, it was just, you don't even think about it. Bye. I flew back, like horrible jet lag, got to the audition, and that's life. You can never plan. You can never plan for leisure. You can never plan for children. You can never plan for any of it if acting is your choice. Now, for a lot of people, it's not my life. My life was acting. I was a professional actor in New York. That was it. That's what I did. And because I didn't have children, and I was, for the most part, alone, yeah, that's what I did. But here, all the time, I see people, they want to include it. They want to have it be part of their lives. They love the experience. I have to quote one of the people here today who came into my class and went, oh, I'm just here because I love Shakespeare. And she took a class and went through the 8 weeks, and then she said, this is kind of addictive because it's so fun. There's somebody in class right now, Lana. And I asked her the other day, because she said, I love this so much. I love it, I love it, I love it. What do you love about it? And she said, I don't know, there's people all around you and so let's think about that. You go to your first read through. That's what they call the first rehearsal. You're going to read through the play. And it's the first time you get to, maybe you know who's in it, maybe some of them you've met before, maybe some of them you never have, but you go to that first rehearsal. There's a wonderful book by Simon Callow, and I think it's called something like Being an Actor or something like that. Anyway, he writes about that first rehearsal because everybody is so not sure, you know? It's like there's coffee, they're spending time with the coffee, they're trying to be cool, they're talking to each other. It's just awkward because they're themselves and they don't know how to be with each other yet. Then you sit down at the table, you have your script, you're reading your part. All of a sudden, it happens. You start playing, you start saying something, everybody's laughing, oh, that's good. Or if it's a drama, you're really moved, you're drawn, the director's talking. All of a sudden, there's such collegial feeling in the room. You're all sharing the journey together. You've just started. It's going to be a great adventure. And I'm talking just started. Because, for example, a Lakewood play, when we direct at Lakewood, we go 6 weeks of rehearsal during the holidays. Happy holidays. You're working 6 nights, 5 nights, or 4 nights, 2 days. You have 1 day off a week. That's it. And you're rehearsing every night, and you're getting ready, and you know, directors will try to be understanding, but just think how hard that is for people to say, honey, I'm sorry I can't make it to your school show. Well, I know you had that great basketball game. I'm sorry I had to miss it. When you see a bio in a play program, from now on you will know when they say, to Missy and Fred, thank you so much for all your support. I couldn't have done it without you. They mean, thank you for sacrificing so much for me to do what I love. Because it's a sacrifice for them. I have had people in plays say, my wife said I could do 1 play a year, right? They make deals, they barter, because it takes so much of your time. So let's think about that. It's you. You're the actor. Somebody calls you up. You're already cast in this other play. It doesn't start rehearsals till January. And it's, let's say, September. Somebody calls you up and says, it's just a real quick thing. I need to replace an actor. Could you come in? What do? The character in Tilt has to face that dilemma. And it's tough. It's tough. But let's get to the fun part, because we don't want to stay with what's tough. There's a lot tough about being an actor. So the fun part are the rehearsals. They are just places to go, to play, to have. They are so fun. They are dramatic. They are torturous. I mean, the first 3 weeks you're convinced you'll never learn the lines. You're convinced that nothing is working and nobody's working well together and everybody hates each other. And then all of a sudden it starts clicking and you all start loving each other and you all start giving so much to each other. And all of a sudden you've got a tribe. That's what theater is. When you're an actor, you're a part of the tribe. And you don't have to ask permission. If you know certain things, people will just laugh in recognition. There are so many superstitions in theater, and I'm convinced they all come out of self-preservation. But one superstition is you can never tell people when you're auditioning for something because you won't get it. You have to just keep, Mom, you can't. Well, that developed most likely because if you tell somebody, hey, I had this great audition, what's the next thing they're going to say when they see you again? Did you ever get that part? And then you have to say, no, I didn't. Right? You don't want to have to say nothing happened with that because you're going to audition 400 gazillion times more than you ever get cast. You just will. And that's the painful part, right? So you got the call from somebody who wanted you. That's so rare. Usually it's the other way around. You have gone now to 4 auditions. Nothing. You have gone now to 28 auditions. Nothing. But you still go. Why do you go? There's that chance. There's that little chance. And then, boom, you hit the lottery, you get the part, and now you're in rehearsal. You've started rehearsing, and you're going to be able to do this show. And then something happens. It's happened to many people. You get injured. You get pregnant. Other things happen while you're rehearsing for the show, you know, and it's life. You know, I had an acting teacher years ago, and he was wonderful, and he always said, your acting problems are your life problems. So anything you're having trouble with as an actor, you start to learn to go, what do I do in my life when that happens? And then you start to realize, whoa, let me turn that around. What do I do in theater that I'm not doing in my life? And I got to tell you, one of the first things you learn in theater is just go with the flow. Be improvisational. Don't be rigid. Don't hang on to something. But I want to deliver the line like this, but you can't deliver it like that if your compatriot, your scene partner, is saying it a different way. You have to work together. You have to be. So it's such a wonderful lesson for young people to be able to work this way. So, you know, and even we have worked with husband and wife pairs before directing shows. And it's wonderful because they're both in the same place. They don't have to say, how was rehearsal? Fine. You know, they get to share it. They get to talk about it. They get to be a part of it. So having a partner be in there with you can be a good thing. Can be. Unless you're playing Hamlet and they're playing Spear Carrier number 3. And it's like, I'm over here. Anyway, back to the world of theater. I just want to make sure I'm not going off the deep end here. I want to leave plenty of time for not just questions and answers, but also sharing comments, thoughts. But first, we have a long way to go. Memorization. Yeah, I see you all nodding. Tough nut to crack. Now, when you're a young child and you're doing plays and you're memorizing, I was so lucky, and I didn't even know it. I didn't know people around me were having trouble. I looked at a page, I got it. By the time we opened, I knew my lines, I knew everybody else's lines, I knew every cue, I knew everything. My brain worked that way. Not everybody's does. I have people that I work with that are dyslexic. They have to memorize it before they can go to rehearsal, where we have the luxury of picking up the script. Memorization is one of those things that you may hate about acting, because we're talking now about theater. There are other kinds of acting, but I'm going to focus what we are doing about on stage work, theater, live work. Because those playwrights meant for you to say what they wrote. You have to learn it word perfect. And there's a reason. There's a music. There's some clue there. We're doing Noel Coward in class right now, and it's like so English, and the way they talk and everything is so out of kilter. It's like backwards. But he meant it to be that way. So you have to become that. You have to change who you are and become that. And isn't that fabulous? That you can do that. That you can say, oh, tonight I'm going to be from York. You know, and all of a sudden you're different. You're a different person up there. That's another thing that acting will bring you. So let's say you're that right now. You are in a play and you don't do a British accent, or you don't do a Southern accent, or you don't do a New York accent, but you have to be for this play. So you try it. You play. If you can't do it, you mumble things out in a wrong way, and then you hire a dialect coach. And they will help you. And all of a sudden, you won't realize it, but all of a sudden it's pretty good. And you have to realize, too, they don't really want you to be that specific when you are doing the accent. They want it to be gentle enough to feel German, but everybody can understand you. Because that's the one thing audiences hate is, I can't tell what they're saying. What are they saying? I don't know. So you want to be a slight British tilt to it, but darling, they have to know what you're saying. So all of that comes into the rehearsal process. There's so much that comes in. How are you going to walk? People think, oh, this is, I memorize, and then I say lines. No, this is part of it. You have to move. You have to be alive in that character. And that takes a long time. Famous actress from years gone by, Swoosie Kurtz, always said, I get the walk, and then I'm in. Getting into the character is what she's talking about. So imagine yourself playing someone very different from you. All of a sudden, you've got this part. You're so excited to get the part, you haven't really looked at the part. And all of a sudden, number one, it could be someone really hateful, violent, very primitive. And you look at it and go, well, I can just act that. Well, they don't want Cruella de Vil. They want a human being. So you start to learn that, well, the playwright wrote that part, and it's part of the bigger whole. So the play is saying something about this character, and it's trying to, plays usually have a message. They don't just write them and say, here's a bit of fluff for you. Even the fluff has a message. So you, as the actor, have to find a connection. You have to find something in you that allows them to be there. Because when you walk on that stage, you're them. You're not you anymore. You're them. All this is so hard. So the memorizing, you're working. Little piece of paper on the script. You're going down, down, down. Shit. And best of all, if you have that loving partner, let me cue you. Thank you. So they can correct you if it's wrong. And the look on your face of hatred is not for them. It's that you said it wrong, right? So if somebody's cueing you and they're like, no, honey, it was supposed to be blah, blah, blah. Okay, do it again. You know, you get so mad at yourself because you want to get that into your brain. but you are losing sight of the fact that you have rehearsal every night. So not only are you reading it on a page, you're saying it to other people, and you're moving with it. You don't memorize by word. You memorize by heart. You memorize by movement. Oh, when I walk to the phone, oh, that's when I say blah, blah, blah. And you link them together in your brain. Your brain does amazing things when you're rehearsing, learning things. But all of this is the minutiae of what you're learning, what you're picking up. I mean, there's so much. I have stories, oh my God. But the basic thing that I rarely see people appreciate is this little magic book. This little magic book is a world. It's like if you were a painter, this is the idea, and the paint comes out of living people. You're going to embody this. This happens to be Noel Coward's Fallen Angels. I'm into Noel Coward at the moment, and I just picked it up. It's got a coffee stain. It's got, in this particular one, I've written in pencil. I write all my notes in pencil because they will change, and you have to change them. This one says, well, this one says not much of anything. But they have notes. They have, this one had yellow highlight. Sometimes you're going to mark so much in these that you'll have, it looks like a piece of pop art. You have what you say about other people in red, then what other people say about you in purple, and then what you say about yourself in green. Then you have to highlight your lines somehow. I went through this phase where I was like, I don't highlight my lines. I put a little pencil dot by the lines that I said. I was so cool. And I'm just, they hated me. They were like, fuck you. That's it? Because they're going, I need the whole line. I say that, you say that. I was lucky. I was lucky. But this book, that playwright, I mean, we're learning a lot about Noel Coward as a human being. That's my feeling. If you're going to be in somebody's play, it could be a new play. Look what's happening right now. Fertile Ground. If you haven't heard about it, this is the week, the 2 weeks, all over the city. It ends Sunday. There are plays, new plays. Every theater is doing readings. Lakewood's doing 4. They had young playwrights. They have new plays. And actors give up their time. Sometimes they get paid, but not really. And then they read it on stage one night, maybe 2 nights. And a bunch of people come because they love this. They love seeing new stuff. They love seeing people create. So this, I hear, is being challenged by people who use this. And they want to come into rehearsal and just do this. The director gives them a note. Okay, where's the note? The note's gone into vapor. It's in pencil here. If you write it down, you're going to keep those notes. I have scripts from like 40 years ago, and I can still read the notes I wrote to myself. I pick them up sometimes and laugh. It's like, oh my God. Going to do it anyway, would rather not feel guilty. That's a note for the character, because she's going to do what she wants to do anyway, but she just doesn't want to feel guilty about it. That's what that line means. So you write notes, you write messages to yourself about the play. But the one thing you have always is people around you. Even if it's a two-hander. I directed Gin Game at Lakewood recently, and it was just the 3 of us in a room, night after night after night, and it was so fun, and it was so deep and meaningful and brought the audience to tears, and it was those actors. They were so committed. I remember we had the first rehearsal, and one of the actors said, no amount of rehearsal is too much. I want to rehearse a lot. And I just went, okay then. And we did. We rehearsed it 6 nights a week and put it up on stage and wound up doing it twice because we got snowed out the first time. But that's most of the time there's more people. When we directed Tomb with a View, it was a huge cast, and then they died off, right? This one's murdered, I'm dead, okay. They would all leave, it was a murder mystery and a farce. So they were the dead people, and they got to just sit in their area and play cards until curtain call when they came back on. But it was the camaraderie. It was the fact that they were together. It was the bonding that you hear secrets, you hear stories, you hear things about people that you wouldn't otherwise know. I used to laugh when I did All My Children, and we'd go onto the set, and everybody would have been sitting around from like 7, 9 a.m., depending on what your call time was. You didn't get to shoot the actual piece until 5. So that episode, you've got rehearsals, and you're sitting around, you're having lunch. So we all used to talk a lot. And then we wouldn't see each other for a while. And then you get back together, and you're like, how was your sister's trip to the gynecologist? Was it cancer? What was your name again? I mean, we knew everything about everybody, but we didn't really know each other. That's what happens with theater people. You just are open. You just are taking it in. Imagine having to play those characters, or having to play. I went into an acting class years ago in New York, and I was taking Bella of Amherst and Medea and things, and I was like 25. And he said, I don't think they're doing Medea this week on TV, but why don't you do the Owl and the Pussycat? Why don't you do, and he had me doing floozies and hookers and funny, crazy alcoholics, and I was just like, okay. And it was the best thing I could have done, because you spread out. You start to inhabit the world differently. That's what I love about acting. You become a different person. You see the world differently. You just do. And I don't know how to explain that to people other than you're not, I mean, you can be judgmental, you can do all kinds of things, but it's that there's an opening of your eyes to things, a willingness to say, oh, that's interesting. I mean, we were talking earlier about I'm in a very chaotic time in my life, and I was like, that'll make a good play. That's how we think of things, that they are stories about the living condition. And that's what I think more than anything. When you're an actor and you're going out on that stage, they see the character you created. They don't see you. Everybody's like terrified, and it's like they're not going to see you. They don't know you. You can hide. It's the character they see. And you know what they see? They see your humanity. How do you feel about that character? Are you judging them? Are you saying, I know this is a horrible person, right? Or are you saying, I'm doing this for a reason. Try to figure it out, right? You're challenging them. You're alive. Theater is life. I want to just take us to one thing, and I do, yeah, it's almost time. I got a little time. So you're an actor, and there you are. You're working on stage. You're okay in rehearsal, but you don't know yet what you have. And you won't know until you get in front of an audience. And it's that horrible gap of, well, is it funny? Are they going to laugh? Do you think, are they going to be moved? How will people feel about this? Well, first of all, I could ask each one of you after seeing a performance, what did you think? And not, did you like it? That's not the question ever. What did you think when you walked out the door? What were you feeling when you walked out the door? Each one of you would say something completely different because it's filtered through you. Every audience is going to be, number one, the audience itself will be different. But let's say there you are, you're on the stage, you're you now as the actor, and you're on the stage, you've gone out, and what did you get to do? You got to meet the audience. That's who you're doing it for. You're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for them. And every night is a different them. And there you are, you're experiencing, oh, they like that? Okay. It's a conversation. And I always say this about projection, because all less experienced actors will do the scene this way. Ba 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 ba, ba 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 ba. We call it cheating. You got to get your face out. You're not talking to them. You're talking to the guy in the back row. You got to reach him. You got to reach her. She's hard of hearing. Get that out there. And they know you're talking to that person. You're allowed. You're on stage. You're allowed to move. You're allowed to connect. We have this thing called the fourth wall. So you create that. There's something on that. Maybe it's a window. Maybe it's a mirror. And they believe it. So that now you can reach them. They don't know you're looking at them and experiencing all that they're doing. Judi Dench has a wonderful story in her book where she talks about the audience. And it was a smaller theater. They're doing some Shakespeare. And there was one woman. She wasn't buying any of it. Turning, looking at her program, just kind of yawning. And she's like, at the intermission, they all said, our job is to reach that woman. We're going to get her. So they went out at it. After intermission, they're dying. They're getting things they had never gotten before. The audience is screaming. And they look, she said, I looked over, and she had left at intermission. I love that story, though, because it's like, well, you got to give that every night, and you can't. You can't give that much every night. But it's a lesson for how not to let things go. Well, I want to end this portion by just saying, okay, you did the show. You bonded with the audience. And after the show, you get to be you. And you walk out with your fellow actors and you take a bow. That is the only time you, as you, get something back from the audience. And sometimes it's a standing ovation. So what I would like to do, I would like you to come up here, if you would. She's just done a brilliant job as a one-woman show. It was so fantastic. And now she's going to get a standing ovation. So everybody, see how it feels? Look how that feels, just for you. That's wonderful. Thank you so much. So it does feel good. It doesn't? Tell me your name. Lana. Nancy. So that, you might say, is why we do it. No, it's not. I said to somebody here today, I would answer the question, why do you have to sacrifice everything? You can never know what your life is going to be. I lived in New York for 12 and a half years, and I never knew from one minute to the next where I was going to be, where I was going to be working, who I was going to be working with. I just knew that I had to do it. Actors do it because they have to do it. They can't not do it. It's so magic. It's so fun. It's so social. And it's a little bit of hard work and a lot of creativity. Something new. You're creating it. It's not just you. It's everybody together. You feel safe. I know it feels crazy, but you feel safe. And that's why we do it. We do it because we've learned, and the tribe, of course, we've learned that we have a body of others who are doing it with us. And the truth of it is, there are actors and there are celebrities. And I got to tell you, the actor's life is the one I always wanted, because it's filled with all the things we talked about. I never wanted to be famous. They can have it. I just want to work. And that's the thing about acting. You will get paid too much. You will get paid too little. You will be doing it for love, and you won't get love. You have to do it for the work. You just have to love the work. And all the rest, you just live your life. I had an acting teacher once, and he said, keep your drama on the stage. Live a very boring, lovely, comfortable life. Not many actors do. Anyway, thank you so much. I'm going to open it up to questions and comments? And anything you care to share or any question you have?
Just raise your hand and I'll bring you the microphone.
Brilliant.
I don't need the microphone.
Oh, well, it's for the filming.
That was what I was going to say. I hope you're recording this.
Oh,
It's
good.
fabulous.
Oh, I'm glad
Okay,
you
good,
are.
for
I
posterity.
forgot about that.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Aw,
Yes,
thank you.
for posterity, for sure.
Yay. Thank you.
Do you know, just a comment, you look like Annie Hall. Doesn't she look like Annie Hall?
Oh, you should have seen me when I was teaching in the schools. I had vests and pants and yeah. Oh, thank you. I'd rather that than Leonard Nimoy. You look like Leonard Nimoy. Thank you.
I've got a question. Which do you enjoy more, acting or directing?
Acting is a love, a passion that was in my life for so long. But a door closed. It's too hard. And when you have a partner and you find, I think that is over. I'm not going to stay in LA. I'm not going back to New York. Let's try something new. And directing was just a natural progression of that. And I love it. I love telling people what to do. That's fabulous. So yeah, I love directing now. I'm retired from acting. I can't do it anymore. It's just too much.
And she's a great
It's
director.
It's a harsh mistress, let me
Yeah.
tell you. Oh,
And
thank you.
tell us about the classes that you teach at Lakewood.
Well, these started about 20 years ago, 23 years ago. We moved here and saw this little place. It looked like a school. And we were living right down the street. So about 3 or 4 years after we moved here, I found the courage to go in and say, I'd like to teach a class for adults, because we were teaching with Oregon Children's Theater, and Kay Vega.
Oh,
And she said, we don't have anything for adults. So I started teaching a class called Acting for Non-Actors. And now I teach the comedy class, and I teach playing with Shakespeare because I started a Shakespeare company and I love Shakespeare. And I teach the professional actors class, which is for people who want to do scene work, right? People who are serious about getting on stages and want to work. And I teach a myriad, give me an idea and I'll run with it, because I want people to have a place to come, maybe for a gym, to say I'm not working right now and I just need to keep my muscles going. And then the rest of the classes are just for people to come, like we did today. Put their feet down, get the script in their hands, start playing and having fun. We're about to switch over from Noel Coward to Neil Simon for the last 4 weeks. And I think Chuck is very happy because he's from New York. He's like, okay, let's go. But I wanted them to see it all because they're very different styles. So that's what I do. I realized that acting is a very self-centered career. And after all those years, I thought, if I do look at the world differently, I want other people to know why. And I want them to come in and say, I want to look at the world differently too. I have a lot of people tell me I have destroyed their ability to watch movies or plays because now they have to watch it 3 or 4 times because they're like, oh, what? Now why did the director? Oh, look at that. Oh, she knew that. That was good. You know, you're seeing so much more. So anyway, those are my classes. And they're at Lakewood Theater. It is, isn't it? Oh my gosh. And they open their doors to so many people.
So for people, what 5 plays, comedy, tragedy, whatever you call them?
Like styles?
Styles. But which 5 would you think, for someone who was saying, I've never been to the theater, would you say, here are the ones to look out for because these will kind of round out the experience?
Wow, interesting. Well, number 1, I would just say go to the theater. Just go. But one of them was just being done by Lakewood, which was Glass Menagerie. And young people didn't know how to see it. They didn't know how to watch it. They wanted to judge what was happening against our own time. But I would say they should be plays from a different era, possibly. So I would say anything by, the great playwrights. But, right now there's a variety of new plays. There's one that they did at Triangle Theater, or it's still going on, called the Savannah Sipping Society. And it was hysterical, but it was Golden Girls for the stage. That's fine. But if you could go see a Neil Simon play, if you could go see a Noel Coward play, I would definitely, those are the comedies that are the height of comedy writing. If you want to go see women's plays, go see Wendy Wasserstein, go see Crimes of the Heart by, what's her name? My mind escapes. Anyway, but go to the theater, and I think you can see in the description of the plays, like, are they new, are they older? The biggest thing I would say is start a relationship with a theater near you and just volunteer to do props or help out backstage. I mean, they always want help. And they want help from people who are really helpful. I did a play, actors are not. I did a play at Toronto Free Theatre years ago with an avant-garde theater company from New York. There were 7 of us in the cast, and the director, and some marketing people, and the props people. So we went to do a play called Danton's Death. And it was very kabuki theater, and it was the early 1980s. And so we did it in the black box upstairs. Downstairs, they were doing Buried Child by Sam Shepard. He's another one, see his plays. And so they were 5 minutes away from their intermission. And the director said to me, oh, I didn't turn the light off. It's behind that curtain when you go at the top of the... So I flipped the light switch, and it was the fire alarm. And literally, we couldn't get it off. Nobody could figure out how it turned off. And so that whole thing, we were at the balcony, right, watching the whole theater stand up, leave the theater. We knew they had to come back in and watch 5 minutes and then get up and leave the theater. So the next night when we came in, they looked at all of us and said, what time would you like the fire alarm to go off? So, but really, I mean, it's one, you learn a lot. I learned a lot. You learn a lot by just going and being around theater people, seeing what they do. Anyway, and thank you to those of you who know me, who came out here. Yes.
I'm reading Marcel Proust.
Oh!
In Remembrance of Things Past.
Yes.
But I'm not reading it. I'm listening to it.
Ah.
And it's fascinating. I mean, he is an incredible author. And when he explains things, it's like what you're just saying right now. He has his descriptions of people.
Amazing.
And when they look in their eyes, and the person that's reading it reads for the women and the men. And
see, that voice acting is remarkable because they're painting the picture for you.
And he's got a beautiful, I mean, he's an incredible writer.
I did, in LA, I was doing a staged reading of a play about Proust. And that's how I met Larry. He came to the play, and we met afterwards and talked.
How nice.
It was a horrible play, but I love Proust.
Yeah, I'm loving him too.
Yeah, yeah.
Horrible play with a happy ending.
Yeah, very. Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's very motivating and inspirational.
Oh, good.
I wanted to ask, what made you leave New York and LA, and what brought you here when it's one of the biggest entertainment hubs in the world?
When I left New York is a tough town, and you get beaten down a bit. And I didn't leave to leave. I had been there 12 and a half years. It was my life. I loved New York. The first 5 years, I was like walking around going, I'm in New York, if I can make it there. However, what happened was, my agents opened an office in LA. They said, this is the time. You got to come out to LA for what's called pilot season. And I did. something shifted, and I never went back. I couldn't. I could drive a car. I could be in a beautiful environment. I could be in a different environment. And then the capper is, I met Larry. And we started we started a nonprofit. We were doing a group called the Writers Lab, and we started doing all these things. And it didn't make sense to go back to New York at that point in my life. So we were LA people, Hollywood. We lived in the Hollywood Hills, just, there's the sign, there's Griffith Park from our terrace. Then we had the riots, and then we had the earthquake, and then we had all these other things. And our parents were older, and illness was hitting them. And all of a sudden, we looked at each other and said, we're not acting anymore. What should we do? And a friend of ours said, I've got friends who just moved to Portland, Oregon, and they were naturopaths. And Larry's looking up everything about Portland, Oregon. It looks so cool. And I went, is Oregon west of Washington? I had no idea. So we came here on a fact-finding trip in 2000, and the end of 2000, and found a place, said this is it. It was so beautiful, all the art, all the creativity. We could walk around a neighborhood and not feel like we were going to be murdered. And so we moved here. And we thought, well, we'll try this out for a little while. All of a sudden, it's 25 years later, and we went, oh. But we always feel like nomads. We still feel like actors. You always do, just because that's what your life has been. So you always want to feel free. You always want to, I worked a job when we came here, training coordinator at a software firm. And that was kind of fun. And I taught project management. Guess what my project was? Okay, you're working toward opening night. And then, so my projects were all shows. Anyway, I realized I couldn't be me. And I would rather have less money and my life. So that was the deal I made with myself. So anyway, that's what brought us here. And nothing's making us leave. Everything makes us want to stay. Thank you for asking.
All right, well, this has been
You have to send them home.
absolutely wonderful, and we're so grateful. Nancy and Larry are in the midst of a big move, so even
Talking
more
about
grateful. Yeah,
transitions.
exactly. So even more grateful that you took the time,
Oh,
and it was
absolutely.
such a treat to have you
Oh,
here
good.
and acting and being and all of that. Yes, very inspirational.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so thank you all for being an actor with me.
Okay, thank you. Standing ovation.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks so much. What's your name? Brandon.
A new
Good.
student.
It's great. So you act?
Well, I did in high school. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's who my students are. They're
Oh,
always
really?
like, I did this. And
He's so right. No, yeah. It was great.
keep an eye open, and when the time is right,
Okay.
I'll always be there.
They're absolutely not.
Thanks
okay.
so much for coming.
That's amazing.
See you Monday,
Thank
dear.
you. See you Monday. Oh, I sent you scripts today. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks, Lana.
That
Oh,
was
thanks,
great.
Terry.
I learned a lot about you too.
I
I like that.
Yeah, exposure.
Yes.
I'm having to go back and read the whole thing so I can understand what happens before the
That's
scene.
right. That's right. You will. I love that. See the movie too.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Nancy.
Thank you, Chuck. Tell Janine hi.
I will.
You pronounce her name differently. Johnny?
I call it Johnny, but it's Janine.
Janine. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Christina.
Inspiring.
I'll see you Monday. So yes.
Good to feel your energy. And
You hang on. Why don't you stay with?
Nancy, I'm Jill.
Hi, Jill. I loved watching your face.
Oh. I'm here because of the Northridge earthquake. I know. It's a long story,
Woo!
but I'm reading the book Tilt.
Wow.
There is an actor in the story,
I know.
and I'm understanding my son-in-law, who's an actor in LA.
Oh, that's so great.
So he's in
That.
film.
Oh, I'm being recorded.